In this lesson, we'll explore various ways to create levels so we can organize our geometry. Currently, I'm in my Levels Manager, and just to recap, we have two levels. Level 1 called MCU gas pedal with one entity on it, and level 10, which is not visible, called bounding box, and that has 20 entities on it. If I check visible under level 10, you'll see that the bounding box gets displayed, and then I can simply uncheck it again to turn it off. We'll create another level down here, and the number will be 100, and in this case the name will be op2. Another method for creating levels is to right-click within the graphics view, and under the area where you can access and change levels, you can type in a new level. So I'm going to type in 110 for level 110, then I hit a colon. So before the colon is a level number, and the text after the colon is a level name. So I'm going to call this op2 wireframe. And when I hit enter, you'll notice that in the level manager now, we have a level 110, which is the active level. It's visible, and it's called op2 wireframe with 0 entities on it. You can create a level the same way by actually accessing it through the Home tab under the Organized group. So I could have typed it in here and I would have gotten the same result. Now at this point, we have two levels that represent wireframe geometry or any other geometry for operation number 2. So that's where level sets come in handy. Level sets allow you to group levels into a certain category or a certain name so you can turn them all on or off at the same time. So I'm going to create a level set by simply double clicking, and I'm going to call this op2. And I'm going to do the same thing for level 110. And that way, if I wanted to, I can right click and see how I can now choose all level set on or off. Which might not be a big deal for 2 levels, but imagine if you had 50 or 100 levels that were all representing a certain fixture or a certain piece of geometry or perhaps a certain setup. You can very quickly turn them all on or off at the same time using level sets. Let's create another level, and it'll be level 11, and we're going to call this wireframe. So this could be general wireframe geometry that doesn't necessarily pertain to a certain operation or a certain setup. Now with level 11 active, I can move geometry to that level. So what I want to do is I want to move all of the lines from the bounding box level to this level called wireframe. So to do that, I'm going to turn on the bounding box level, and so we can now see it. And under quick masks, I'm going to choose to select all wireframe entities, or I could also just say all line entities. And as you can see, all of the line entities get selected, but the points do not get selected. And down here, you can even see that it shows selected entities 12, which makes sense because there's 12 lines in this rectangle. So with the wireframe geometry selected, I can right click and go up here to choose change level. And I'm going to move the geometry and not copy it because I don't want it to remain on the existing level. I want to move it. And I'm going to choose use active level. Since the level that I want to move this geometry to is already active, it makes it easier and I can just click OK. But for example, if I wanted to move it, let's say to level 1, I'd have to uncheck this and then type in. So we'll move to active level, click OK, and all of a sudden, this geometry now is on level 11. And we can tell because when I turn off level 10, just the points disappear because those points are still on that level. In addition to creating the various levels in the level manager, if there are levels you no longer need, you can also delete them. Now we created level 100 and 110 as examples, but let's say we wanted to delete them. I can simply right click and we'll have options to delete, but delete entities will delete all the geometry on that level. To delete the actual level, we can clear empty levels and choose all. In this case, 2 levels will be deleted, the ones that have 0 geometry on them. Let's finish up this lesson by exploring some of the options at the top of the level manager. So the first one is an option to create new levels. You can also find level based on geometry, which would allow you to select geometry from the graphics screen and activate that level. You can also show all levels and hide all levels. You can reset all levels to the status they were at when you opened the file. And you can also hide the properties down below or display them. And like we saw earlier, there are display options to choose whether the active level is always visible or not. Perhaps only the active level is visible. And then you can also choose an option to allow you to use the arrow keys to navigate through the list. And we have two other options here. One is ignore blanked entities and count. Currently, we haven't really explored that in too much detail, but you could have massive amounts of geometry that's blanked, which means you really don't see them on your screen. And this option will allow you to include that blanked geometry in the count when it shows you how many entities are on that level. And finally, contrast rows, which basically shades every other row to make it easier to see. In the next lesson, we'll explore creating stock within our machine group, and then updating our gnomon to reflect that stock.